Well, it seems we've cleared out this area of the 8 points. Should be nice to relax a minute and catch our breath. Gary, can you be the lookout so we all can take a rest?
Hey, guys? Guys? Are you seeing this?
Age of Sigmar Warcry. Nighthaunt versus Splintered Fangs. Hey everyone, welcome to another Warcry battle report. This time we have the ethereal ghosts with their candles fighting off against the Slither Kings and Queens. For the Nighthaunt, we are using some Warhammer Underworld models for the Chain Rasps. The ghost dude with the tiny candle will act as the Dread Warden. Anyways, let's introduce the warbands and flip some cards to see what is in store for this combat. For the Nighthaunt, in the hammer we have a Spirit Host and a single Chain Rasp. In the shield we have 3 Chain Rasps and the ghost with the candle as our leader, the Dread Warden. And finally in the dagger we have another Spirit Host and a Chain Rasp. For the Snake Folk, in the hammer we have the Serpent Caller, the Snakes, and the Pureblood. In the shield we have the leader, the True Blood, a couple Venom Bloods, and a Clear Blood with a shield. And last but not least, in the dagger we have the 3 Clear Bloods. Onto the cards. For the terrain, we flip it over and we get a mix of starter set terrain and the Shattered Storm Vault expansion terrain. Here it is, all set up on the table. For deployment, we have a Frontal Assault. Looks like all squads will enter the battlefield on turn 1. Should be exciting from the start. For the victory card, it seems one team will defend the find. First off, both sides will roll off, Splintered Fangs winning the roll, and they decide to be the attacker. This means the Nighthaunt will set up 4 treasure tokens close by on the battlefield. They must defend these treasures by the end of the 4th battle round, or the Snake Folk will be victorious. And finally, for the twist card, we turn over No Respite. Very simple one here today. Looks like both sides will not have access to this ability. That may be an issue for those defenders. Now we will hop over and start setting up both of these warbands. For the deployment, the Nighthaunt will be setting up in the red deployment zones on the north side of the map, and the Splintered Fangs will be in the blue. Now that we have all the hammer, shield, and dagger squad set up, let us get into some initiative rolling. The Nighthaunt roll first and get a pair of doubles and 2 singles. For the Splintered Fangs, they roll up a number of singles and 1 double. They will then decide to make another double, and the ghosts will boost up their double into a triple. The game then starts with the True Blood, who will use the double for the rush ability. This grants her a total movement of 10 inches, which pushes her right up to the edge of the terrain. And to the Nighthaunt's surprise, this model is actually within 1 inch of the treasure, so the True Blood will pick it up, getting the Splintered Fangs closer to victory. Next, a Chain Rasp decides to use the rush ability as well and flies forward to slow down a couple Clear Bloods. His hope is to slow their advance to the treasure. Next, the Venom Blood with the whip will simply double move and advance up closer to the gold. Or maybe it's weapons. Who knows? The Dread Warden will then go next and use the Inspiring Presence ability so that one of the Chain Rasps can back him up. The Dread Warden will then double move forward and start creating a ghostly blockade. The ability then activates and a Chain Rasp moves up next to its leader as the blockade grows. For the Snakes, the Clear Blood with the shield will just move up closer to the spooky barrier and pass the turn. Then we hop over to a Spirit Host who will double move closer to the action. The Serpents by the Sigmar statue will use all their movement to slither forward. Then they will wait for their orders from the Serpent Caller. Another Chain Rasp will take a hint and travel closer to all of the action and pass the turn over. Then the Venom Blood with the spear will travel his full 8 inches forward and be just inside 2 inches of a Spirit Host, so next turn he can stab in. The Chain Rasp with the board stapled to his shoulder will hover forward, creating more of a cluster for the Splintered Fangs to fight through. The Serpent Caller will then snake forward using the rush ability and push up on this fancy new terrain and become a ranged threat to the Nighthaunt. A couple daggers may be thrown next turn at some ethereal enemies. The other Spirit Host will also use the rush ability and drift forward to the group of Clear Bloods and hopefully engage them in the next battle round. So I thought I had another rush ability, but apparently I did not. Luckily, this didn't affect the game too much. Anyways, on to the next turn. This moves the turn to the lonely pureblood, who will just double move and try to catch up to those who are much faster than him. Then the final Chain Rasp will activate and just continue the blockade. And finally, we will pop over to the last 3 activations, which are the Clearbloods. To make things easy, they will all attack into the Chain Rasp, and if it dies, then into the Spirit Host. We will work north to south here. The one at the top swings in, hitting on 5s, and deals 6 damage, which almost takes out the Ghost. The second Clearblood will attack in once to the Chain Rasp, finishing it off. And his second attack will go into the Spirit Host, hitting on 5s and dealing 3 damage. And the final Clearblood will attack twice into the host, and rolls up 3 additional damage. This will then end Battle Round 1. Both armies have either moved their fighters into defensive positions, or have advanced to capture those treasures. This turn 2 is very key. If the Nighthaunt go first, they have a chance to do some damage to the Splintered Fangs. With that being the case, we now move on to Battle Round 2. The Nighthaunt will roll off first, getting a pair of doubles and a couple singles. And for the Splintered Fangs, they roll a trifecta of doubles. The Nighthaunt have the initiative and will turn a double into a triple to keep the initiative, and the Splintered Fangs will upgrade a double to a triple. Now we move on to the battlefield and start with the Spirit Host surrounded by the Clearbloods. The Spirit has plans to change that by using the Frightful Touch ability, so that all hits are critical hits. Hitting on 4s, he deals 12 damage to the first Clearblood, wiping it from the board, and onto the second Clearblood, he deals out, just a casual 20 damage and eviscerates the other Clearblood. Next is the Trueblood Leader, and she will attack first into the Chain Rasp that is on the edge of her 2-inch range. Hitting on 4s, she deals out plenty of damage to kill the Ghost. Her next attack will pierce into the Dreadwarden right in front of her, again hitting on 4s, and deals out 4 damage. Then she will use the Inspiring Presence ability on the Venomblood nearby so that he can activate next turn. He will then spend his turn attacking into some ghosts. He'll use the double 2 for the Poisoned Weapon ability, now hitting on 3s into the Spirit Host. He deals out 8 total damage with both of his attacks. I think he was hoping for a little bit more there. Next, the Spirit Host that was damaged will move up to the Serpent Caller and attack in using the Onslaught ability. So now with 7 attacks hitting on 5s and deals out 4 damage. The Spirit did not land a critical hit either, so he does not knock the Caller off the platform. Next is a Clearblood with the shield who will attack into the Dreadwarden, hitting on 5s with 4 attacks and deals in a decent 4 damage. Next, a Chain Rasp will fly down and attack into the Venomblood with the spear. Hitting on 5s, the Ghost spikes 3 criticals and deals out 6 damage. That was quite the roll. Next are the Serpents, and they have a plan of their own. They are going to use the Rush ability and slither far away from this combat and go for a treasure. I've already pre-measured this journey, so don't you all worry. To follow this up, the Dreadwarden will attack into the Clearblood with the shield, hitting on 5s and slams in 10 damage, which is the poor soul's exact health, and another fighter is taken down. Then the Serpent Caller will attack twice into the Spirit Host. Hitting on 5s, the Caller deals in a big old 10 damage. That Spirit Host is actually looking pretty hurt now. Not bad, Mr. Snake Man. Another Ghostly Boy will attack into the Venomblood with the spear, hitting on 5s, and doesn't land a single hit. Not as good as his ally, I guess. The Venomblood with the whip is next. The Chaotic Elf will move a little forward and climb down the obstacle, saving himself from taking impact damage. Then he has a little bit more movement left to scoot forward and pick up the Far Treasure. That is now 2 treasures being held by the Splinter Fangs. The final activation for the Nighthaunt is a Chain Rasp in front of the Venomblood. It will attack in, hitting on 5s, and deals out a total of 2 damage. And to finish up the battle round, a Clearblood will retreat from the scary Spirit Host and then continue to make its way towards the treasures. The Pureblood will also do his best to avoid the combat, but it may take him a bit to get to the treasure. This will then end Battle Round 2. A few of the Splinter Fangs fighters have been taken out, but they currently have 2 of the 4 treasures. With the Serpents only inches away from another one, the Nighthaunt better stop them soon or this game will be over. We'll now move on to the initiative for Battle Round 3. The Nighthaunt will roll first, getting a double and 4 singles. For the Splintered Fangs, they roll up a double and a triple. The Nighthaunt have the initiative and decide to ramp up to a triple, while the Snakefolk go for a second double. With this, we then begin Battle Round 3. The Dreadwarden leader will start by making 2 attack actions into the True Blood leader. Hitting on 5s, she ends up taking 4 damage. And then the Dreadwarden will use the Inspiring Presence ability to give the go-ahead to the Spirit Host barely within 6 inches. The Spirit Host will attack into the Serpent Caller, hoping to take him down. On the first attack, hitting on 5s, it deals in 1 point of damage. Hopefully this next attack is much better, and it is absolutely dreadful. Some unfortunate rolling there. Now we move on to the last Clear Blood, who will make a run for it to the treasure. He will also use the double 5 rush ability to make it even farther away from the terrifying Spirit Host, making it now impossible for the ghost to hover forward and attack him this turn. Because of this move, the only chance the Nighthaunt have to win this game is to kill the Venom Blood here, and move their other figures to the True Blood and take her down on some lucky rolls. So one of the Chain Wraths will attack in. Hitting on 5s, it deals in 1 point of damage. This is not going well. Next, the Serpents will move forward and pick up the 4th and final treasure. It is looking very grim for the Nighthaunt. Next, a Chain Wrath will go, and it only needs to do 1 damage to the Venom Blood. The dice are rolled for the first attack, and it gets the job done. It will then move towards the True Blood to lock her into place. But even with the death of that Venom Blood, the Nighthaunt are going to have to forfeit. The Spirit Host, who is not gone yet, has to use both of his actions to just get to the Clear Blood with the treasure, and the Chain Wraths cannot even deal enough damage to the True Blood to finish her off, even if all of the hits are critical hits. So this means the Nighthaunt cannot force the snakes to drop a treasure, and in turn, they pull out a win. Victory goes to the Splintered Fangs. At the start of the battle, I was worried about the Splintered Fangs' chances. With being able to fly and that frightful touch ability from the Spirit Hosts, I thought they would lose too many fighters in the first 2 rounds. But the Serpents are quick, and the Ghostly Blockade was not strong enough. The Nighthaunt were able to slow them down, but the higher model count worked in the Splintered Fangs' favor. And when the Ghosts were stuck in battle, it seemed like a waste of a turn to retreat and then move into a better position without trying to thin the snake herd. Overall, a well-fought game. And for the first time using the Nighthaunt, I like the abilities they have and the fact that everything can fly. If roles were reversed here and the Nighthaunt were the attackers, I think this game would have been over after turn 1. I hope you all enjoyed this battle report, and I look forward to hearing from you. I want to thank you all for watching, and of course, happy gaming.